Okay. Squeeze it in. Good morning. So we had another inch and a half of rain since that last video ended last night. I'm by the river here where I took some of my drone footage yesterday, and I just wanted to show you guys some stuff. Look at the water flowing. It's hitting the bridge. The water is higher on this side of the road than it is over here. You can see down there it's trying to flow across the road. It's almost made it, but I bet it's 1.5 feet higher on the north side than the south side. Look at the water pouring out of the river into our field. Unbelievable. It's gonna get worse before it gets better here. Yeah, it's wet. It says 4.13 for the storm on the weather station, which sometimes we think that's a read's a little bit low, actually. Phil, my uncle, lives just down the road here, a half a mile, said that he had put a rain gauge out on Saturday and dumped out, what did he say, 4.5, I think, since then. So, and we know we had almost an inch, 9/10 or so, from last Thursday and Friday. So we're over 5 inches here in the last week, and that's a lot. So I'm gonna go drive around, survey some more damage here this morning a little bit. I'm gonna stop in, talk to a couple of my local seed customers, see what they're thinking about replant stuff, try and get a jump on what I need to get around for them. And yeah, hopefully this afternoon will warm up a little bit, the wind might die down, and we can do some power washing or something outside. That's my plan. So let's go look around some more. I think I'm gonna take the drone again. I don't know, we'll maybe wait a little bit because it's pretty windy before I try and put that up, but I'd like to see how much different things look this morning, because we did have another 1.5 inches of rain since then, since I flew it last night, but that was 12 hours ago now, and be curious to see how much the water has gone down and how much is different. So anyway, let's go. Got a little water over the road here, sitting on our field. Good news is the water has gone there. Yesterday I came through here and the water was flowing out through there and all down. It's all in that hole back there now, but it's concentrated, at least a smaller area. That's a good thing. Oh man, there's a bunch of water up here. I don't know if I've ever seen this much water sitting on this field of ours. And more. I think there's 24 acres in this field. It looks to me like 10 of it at least is underwater. I know it's super windy, but you can see all the water out here in the field, but you can also see the line of where the trash floated up and how much it's receded already. And look at how much trash was over the road down there. That water was flowing across the road, and I mean that's a significant amount that it's down. So that's a good thing. The water is getting away, but boy, there's a lot out there. It doesn't look like it right here, but even this field is a lot better than it was yesterday. And the water is getting away. It's flowing in there fast. So we'll come back in a few hours and a lot of this will be gone. So this is one of the spots that I showed drone footage of yesterday. And while it's bad, and it is, if you look real close there, the water is flowing back into the river instead of out into the field like it was yesterday. That is a good thing. You can also see the high water mark there. The water is going down. It's going to take some time, but it's not as bad as it looks. County was just through with their snowplow, pushing all of the trash off of the road. That's funny. I don't know that I've ever seen that before. Oh look, more rain. Well, some of the good news is the water has pretty well gotten off of my corn test plot, at least the variety trials portion of it. There's a little bit there yet, but I think that'll keep going down and probably be gone by tomorrow, so that should all be okay. That I'm not so sure about. That's mostly my nitrogen rate trial spot that I haven't really done anything there other than planting it. The water is down. You can see it was cooler up there, so hopefully that'll keep going down. We won't lose much, or if anything, there, but we'll see. I'm not replanting a plot. At least I'm not replanting a plot with the plot varieties, so really hoping that this makes it. That was way too much work to try and do it again and not get data off of it and some results. So I will be super bummed if my plot, it doesn't turn out like I'm hoping it will. But once again, nothing I can do about it. All right, well, aside from driving around and looking at water and talking to a few customers, I didn't accomplish a whole lot today. Did some work on a computer. So I'm gonna combine this with tomorrow's video. So yeah, it's tomorrow now. Good morning, day 2 here. We're actually gonna do something today. One, I'm gonna get these boxes cleaned up. It's not raining out, it's not super nice out. The sun's not shining and it's rather chilly, which I guess I won't complain about because it's keeping my crops underwater alive. But I can get those boxes out of here, take them down to my seed warehouse. I also want to bring the gator in here. We've got a tire on it that's got a slow leak in it, and it's kind of always flat. So I bought some tire slime stuff in that bottle that I'm going to stick in that tire, and hopefully that fixes that, or at least temporarily fixes it. And we're also going to go drive around, look at some more water pictures. It's not windy or as windy today, so I think I can get the drone up. I'll be really curious to take it to those 2 spots where I did footage in the last video and see how much things have changed in 48 hours or so. And yeah, we'll just go take a look around a little bit. I'm also going to drive to Berkey and look at our crops down there, stuff, because I haven't been down there. We didn't get quite as much rain that way, but I just want to go see what things look like and whether we're going to have to replant anything there or not. So that's my plan for today. Let's get to it, I guess. Check it out. All that water's gone. That's fantastic. There was a lot of water there yesterday when I looked, and it's gone. So yeah, still got just a little bit clear back there by the woods, but it doesn't look terrible. Thank goodness. Plots are gonna make it, I think. Must be windier than I thought. Not sure how those 2 lids blew off between there and there, but yeah, good thing they didn't break. It cost me $100 if I don't return one of those lids. $100. Crazy. Okay, the pile of empties is slowly growing. I do got to get all those folded down yet, but I'd like somebody to help me because there's a lot of boxes there and they're a pain to do by yourself. So we'll get to them. No big deal. Yeah, let's go drive around, see what water stuff looks like here. I showed this spot yesterday, but it'd be earlier in this video. Water was flowing across the road here. It's down substantially. Good sign. Water is almost gone from that hole. Awesome. Check that field out. I can row the corn. Just a little water there. That corn looks fantastic. Beautiful. So I pulled into this field. This is the very first field that we planted to beans. It was April 23rd. I did it with the corn planter 30-inch rows. You can see the beans, the rows. That's good. Obviously, we've got a little bit of water. There's some way over there, but it's gone down quite a bit. I can already tell. Hopefully that keeps getting away and we don't lose too big of pockets there. But dang, look at these beans, guys. These look fantastic. A little yellow. That's from the cold weather. But they're going to make it. And yeah, looks good. So with beans, these first 2 little leaves that you can see here, those are called the cotyledons, and that's basically what was the seed that pushes up through the ground and opens up, and then the growing point kind of emerges from the center. You get these first 2 little leaves there. Those are the unifoliate leaves. They're individual leaves, and then from there they'll start putting out sets of 3, what we call trifoliates. So they look good. Our stand is fantastic, probably way too thick. And I only planted these at I think 140,000 or variable, but somewhere in there. So looks great. I'm thrilled. A little sunshine and heat towards the weekend, and these beans are going to take off and things are going to start looking really good. We just got to get rid of that last little bit of water. Okay, well, we still have some water here. So this is where I sort of started this video yesterday. I stopped at the bridge here to take a look. You can see over there, there is still water coming out of the river into the field, but the level is down a fair amount, actually. I can't really see a high water mark anywhere, but it was a lot worse than that. I don't know if you guys can see it clear over there on the bank where the water was higher and there. So that is a good thing. You can also see from here on the north side that the water is down because there is space under the bridge, and there was not that yesterday. So that's good. There's still an awful lot of water flowing through here. It's not flowing out there like it was. So we just got that little bit. Yeah, not good, but it's improving. And this is the worst of the worst here. This area is right along the river. It's the worst area that we have for flooding fields, and you know, it's pretty much to be expected. So it's a little windy, but I am going to attempt to put the drone in the air and take a few pictures just to see the change from 48 hours ago. Well, you can see from that drone footage that there's clearly still a lot of water out there, but I hope you can see the water lines and where it's gone down, and that we are in a lot better shape than we were. So it'll keep getting away. I think we've got another day or two to get rid of the water, and the crops that are underneath them will still be okay, but we won't really know that until it does and it dries up enough we can go out and actually look at stuff. So we're kind of in that second spot that I was flying the drone here right now. I just wanted to show you this because there's a drastic difference between now and 2 days ago. 2 days ago when I was here, this spot where I'm standing was underwater. This whole pile was almost underwater. You can see the water line here where my truck is parked all the way up there. So this has gone down substantially. There was no, you couldn't see through there. We drive through there all the time and it was way underwater. So that's a good thing. You can see across the road kind of something similar. We still got some water through here, but not as far up as it was. So that's also good. Man, I don't like it. I don't like that this water is still there, but it's better. It's better. It's still moving through here quite quickly. Yeah, we got a lot of water going through this river right now. So here's another spot that is really encouraging to me. You remember what this looked like a little bit ago? Yesterday, but a little bit ago. And the water was up to the top of this catch basin here, pouring through those holes on the side. Now we're down a long ways. There's a tile there that the water is still flowing in quite rapidly, but we've got the surface water off. And that's what we're trying to do, get the surface water off so that it's not saturating the crops. And this should live through it. We got a little spot over there, a little bit of water here, but that's not bad for what this looked like. I think these crops should make it. Most of them. It's about time to turn on the heat so that stuff can grow. 60 degrees isn't cutting it. Okay, so I'm sure you guys are tired of looking at pictures of water and how much it's changed, as I'm about ready to drive through some here, but I'm gonna head to Berkey and see what stuff looks like down there. Plus, I have a rain gauge that I'm going to put out because we didn't have one down there. So we'll see what things look like down there. But I got my phone camera mount there so I can drive without having to hold a camera and be somewhat safe with it. Because I wanted to talk about a few things, address some of the comments and questions from the last video that I put out talking about the water and showing how much damage there was and stuff. So as I hope you guys can see, yes, it's bad. There's a lot of water. It's worse along the rivers where I've taken the drone footage. The high ground, once you get a mile or two away from the river, it's not so bad. It's drained off, and I think we're going to be okay on the majority of that. So how bad is it? Hard to say just yet. Are we going to have some replant? Probably, but it kind of depends on how fast things dry out. So if it keeps raining, which it's supposed to start raining again Sunday, Monday time frame, are we gonna dry off enough to even get a chance to replant? On the corn, questionable. Beans, probably, because we can plant beans a lot later than we can corn, and we should be able to do some. How much? Honestly, I have no idea. Yesterday morning, I would have estimated that we had anywhere from 200 acres of crops underwater. Now, I would guess it's closer to maybe 40 or 50 acres total, which is still a lot, but it's not bad, and we'll see how much of that even dries out enough to be able to replant. It would be nice to be able to, but we'll see. That's going to be a time thing. We have to give it time to dry out, see what comes up, see what doesn't, and make an assessment. The fortunate thing here is that I don't think it's going to be so much of an issue of reduced stands. I think where we have gotten the water off, everything's going to come up and be just fine. It's not like it's going to be just thin, and we have to make that decision of, is there enough there to raise a decent crop, or do we need to go in and fill it in and replant and stuff? I think it's going to be, if we're going to replant, it's because there's major pockets where the water ponded and sat, and it just was there too long. Let's talk about the erosion aspects of what we've seen here. I know that's a concern. I know a lot of people have mentioned some stuff about cover crops or no-till or different things that we can do to kind of control some of that erosion. And you're 100% right. It is bad, and it's not what we want to see. I will say, though, that this is absolute worst-case scenario from an erosion standpoint. So we had over 5 inches of rain in less than 5 days. At the absolute worst time of year for an erosion standpoint. If this rain would have come a month from now, the crops would be established enough that they wouldn't really, the roots would help hold that soil in place. We wouldn't get the erosion that we're seeing from this rain now, because there's nothing there. There's nothing growing to help hold the roots in place. We did no-till a few beans in. We had that one field, the one field right along the river, actually, that was stale seed bedded right into the cover crop stuff from last year. I'm sure those things help, and we're going to try and keep doing more of that. We've never had luck doing long-term no-till every crop, especially corn around here. I like to tell people I'm just not a good enough farmer to do it. I'm sure it's possible, but we've not been able to make it work and do it effectively around here. So something we'll keep experimenting with and trying some, but it's just, you can't commit your whole farm to it if it's not effective, and we're going to lose money doing it. So the other thing is about cover crops and stuff, and we have done more and more cover crops. The issue with having stuff green and growing in the spring is that on corn especially, corn will sense other plants growing next to it as soon as it starts coming up out of the ground. And if it senses that competition from weeds, which a cover crop at this point would be a weed competing with the corn, it'll alter the way that it grows. The leaves will grow more in line with the row instead of spreading out across the row, capturing sunlight and stuff, and it will affect that corn plant for the entire year. It'll never recover from it. So we find it very important to start with clean fields. Now, that doesn't mean we can't have cover crops and have something growing 90% of the year up until right before we plant, until the crop get established.
But that's why this timing was so bad, because it was just worst case scenario. We would have gotten this rain a month ago before we really started doing any work. And yeah, we had some chisel plowed ground that would have still eroded, but the surface was rough. And when you have a rough surface, it keeps the water from flowing across it so fast and helps hold everything in place. After planting, we have smooth fields. They field cultivated down, they're level, and the water can just run right across them. So it's not good. We're still working on trying to be better farmers to keep that stuff from happening, keep our soil in place. I don't like seeing erosion any more than you do, because I know what's happening when when the water in the river is muddy. That means that my topsoil is going with it. It means all my nutrients are going with it, and that's a problem, because I can't farm without topsoil, and nutrients are expensive to put on. So it's really unfortunate, the timing of this rain. If we would have got it in August, I wouldn't be worried about it at all. But when you get it in mid-May and the fields are bare, it's just worst case scenario. So hopefully, though, our crops recover, things warm up and start growing a little bit faster here. We get an established crop before we get any more big rains, and we won't have any more issues from this year. So I've been really happy with the way that the water is getting off the fields, especially on the high ground. We're going to have to reassess in a few days of where we're at. I've been talking to my sales rep, getting some seed around for replant stuff, trying to talk to my customers to get an idea for how many units they think we might need. It's a really tough call right now because, like I said, we may or may not even get an opportunity to plant it. So I want to be ready, but at the same time, I don't want to bring 1,000 units of beans in if we're not going to plant any of them. So let's go take a look at these fields down here in Berkey and see what things look like. I'm also going to grab some lunch, and then we'll head back to Waldron, the farm there, this afternoon, get that gator in the shop, and find something to do. Well, we're down to Berkey. A little bit of water in these ends, but not much. For the most part, it appears to have gotten away. And that is good. These fields are a lot flatter here, so while there is some high and low spots, it's not near as extreme, and we don't get as many pockets and stuff. So usually if there's water, it's the majority of the field, but doesn't look bad here. Now, let's find somewhere to put our rain gauge so we can actually know how much rain we get without having to call the neighbors. Well, we've got a little bit of water over here in these fields, just a little here. There's a fair amount out that way. But there's a ditch right along the road. There is some tile in there, so that stuff should get off. Might take it another day. We got just a touch on this side of the lane here. This is where my corn plot is. Hopefully that stuff keeps moving. But overall, I'm surprised that there isn't more water than there is. And you can see that stuff has washed up there a little bit. There was more water on this at one point. I assume right after it rained, probably Monday. So, yeah, pleasant surprise, I guess. I did talk to another neighbor. He said we just had around 3 or 3 1/4 here. One of the other people I had talked to said 3 1/2. So definitely got less rain here. I expected it to look a little bit better, but probably better shape here than Waldron, which is good because I really didn't want to have to drive down here again to replant stuff. So, yeah, that's definitely a good thing. So just walking, I was going to look and see if any of this corn was poking through yet, which I don't see any. But we're going to head back to Waldron now. Okay, we made it back. We're gonna get a little tire sealant slime goo put in this tire. It doesn't look low right now. It is a little bit, but Dad pumped it up to, like, I don't know, 50 pounds or something like that, so we wouldn't have to do it for a while. And it is a slow leak, but if you put it at the right pressure, within a couple of days it's low, and you can tell. So we're gonna slime it, see if we can fix it. Okay, got the air out. Pull the little valve stem core. Got my stuff here. Comes with this little hose. I assume you just kind of slide it on there and put it in. It also says to use this whole bottle for a tire this size. Seems like plenty to me, but what do I know? Okay. Squeeze it in. We're going to test it. Drive some nails into our tire to see if it actually works or not. Yeah, I didn't think so. Well, I was doing real good till the hose popped off my bottle. Filled a little bit. But I got most of it in there. Okay, I got it put in. Now we got to drive it. in order to fling that stuff around all over in the tire so that it seals it up. So let's go find some mud, right? Corn's up. I can row it. It's growing. It's a good deal. Okay, well, hopefully that fixes our little leak on our gator tire there. We are going to start using that a little bit more once it dries up. We've got some rocks to pick up, and I need to get our sprayer. We've got a little sprayer that goes in the back of that. Usually just put some Roundup in it and spray stuff around the yards and everything. So, oh, and I've got a little more cleaning up to do. We got that pile of bags over there that's got to get taken back to the woods and burnt, and some old cardboard down in my seed warehouse. So, it's got to dry off a little bit for us to do some of those things. I guess that's about all I'm going to accomplish today. At least I got a little bit of something done. So, yeah, things will pick up here towards the end of the week. Hopefully it's going to be warmer out, and hopefully we can get some of that equipment and stuff cleaned up and put away that we're done with, and then we know we're done with. But good thing I didn't do the planters. So, oh, one more thing. I know that I've kind of talked about the rain being bad here and stuff, and it certainly has not been good. We've had way too much, but we are in nowhere near as bad a shape as some of the places up north in Michigan there, where they've had the dam failures and stuff. So certainly thankful that we didn't have that, and we're thinking about those guys up there and hoping that the damage is not as bad as it looks like it's going to be right now. So yeah, but anyway, I hope you guys have a good night. Hit the like and subscribe buttons for me, please. Leave me any questions, comments that you have in the comments section, and I'll be sure and answer them. So see you guys later.